Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are back with building the mountain base, and this is context number 4. Alright, so it's been quite some time since we last spoke about building the mountain base, and one of the first things we did in here was actually to upgrade this door system here. The garage door, that is. So the garage door was these two big panes, and they just open and close, and it wasted a whole bunch of space because they're quite big and wide. So I decided to change it up a little bit and then add a bit of a flap to it. And when I mean flap, just divide it in half and have it close on the outer end and then the inner end, as you see there. And then it closes up pretty well, and it creates a door where it doesn't take up more than half the space of the garage here, as you can see. So it used to go up to right around here as a door, which is pretty much half the space. So that was wasted. So I decided to change it up to this, where it does use a rotor with some cylindrical pillars, or whatever they call it, columns, and have it kind of fold in half, as you see here. It works out pretty well to a point where when I have to close it, that's where the problem is, because the rotor here, this one runs on a quicker speed of 6 RPMs versus the other rotor, the original rotor that runs the doors, is at, I believe, 4 RPMs or 2 RPMs? 2 RPMs. So of course one's faster than the other, so you're gonna see an effect such as this, where it's kind of gliding off the walls, but it's not too bad, and it swings shut really quickly in the middle end and versus the outer end, but it kind of lines up in some ways. For some reason, because of these lights that I added here, these searchlights, it does prevent it from closing if the RPMs are quite slow. So that's a bit of the problem that I experienced with it, and that's why we increased the speed to 6 RPMs. But here's the inside look of the door, of how that opens, how quickly it opens, and it needs to open quick enough before it gets closed from the outer piece so that it can actually properly close. It does hit the wall quite a bit, but I think they worked out quite okay, and it did reduce half the speed or half the space used for this door. So here, once again, it opens and closes pretty well. It's definitely not an airtight system, but it's something just for aesthetics, I guess. So here we add a little slow block here so that it doesn't interfere with this block here, the rotor, because for some reason when I did a block here and a block I think up here, it prevented this to shut all the way closed, so it left 1 degree open. So that bothered me a little bit, so I decided to change it up and add the slope blocks. Although it doesn't make it look great, it does make it add a bit of a design to it, so that kind of worked out as well. And part of that same like time-lapse episode, well, before we go too far, I have a little small door here, so we need to go in and out as quickly as possible. We don't worry about opening and closing the door all the time just to get one person out. But of course we did have, I think, a total of 4 rovers that we built through blueprinting and everything like that, but it looks like we're down to 2. Why? Because we failed a few times, and the walls, the ceiling, and everything like that kind of fell on top of it and blew up those rovers as we were going along. But that's not a big deal. We can always build more. Alright, so right after that, we decided to go and play around with different drilling systems, which was pretty fun. So I went on the workshop and found a couple of decent drilling machines. Yeah, so one of the good ones was the Northwind Heavy Equipment mod, which is the bucket excavating mod that rotates. Looks like I took it out of the save or the server for some reason, but that's alright. That one actually worked out pretty well in terms of drilling on a left click way, because it was able to collect a lot of stone really quickly, and it created a bit of a hole. It was a bit cheesy when I did a right click. That took out a big chunk of the mountain here, or the tunnel, as you see here. So this is using 3 straight horizontally, and I think I put it right in the middle, and it just pretty much drilled as high as this to all the way down here. We can go down. Let's see. I'm not able to go down. Yep, not able to go down, but but it did take a chunk right here. Here we go. So here's the big chunk over here. So that was a bit cheesy, so I guess that's probably why I took it off. But it was nice to use it, to see it visually through a time lapse, to see it rotate and collect the stone and everything like that. And if we want to jump right into it, we then use the heavy mining drill as a different mod. But this one's a little harder to place in some ways, but here we go. We'll place this one here, and it's just this big rounded drilling mod that works okay too. This one, it seemed a little bit more wobblier on the time lapse, and that's only because I added a whole bunch of pistons, much more than I did with the Northwind drilling mod. But this one looks pretty cool too. It has all the little excavating drilling pieces here and some lights here when it's rotating. So I thought this one was pretty awesome. It looked okay. It could have looked a little better if I were to balance it out a little bit more, so then I could use it too. But it is quite heavy. This is a pretty heavy duty drilling system here. Right, yeah, so these things, I just put 2 just for fun, just to show it off. But yeah, it is quite the build. They take a lot of materials, as you see here. 18,000 steel plates, and it drills out pretty nicely when you're collecting. Right click drilling, it's pretty big as well. So both of them worked out pretty well. It wasn't too bad either or. Were they a little cheesy in some ways? It can be, yes. So we can always revert back to a regular drill system and all that stuff. But it was just fun to play around with a bit of a different type of drilling systems that are available. So these worked out pretty fine. They're pretty fun to play around with. But lots more to go, because we need to make compartments as well. One of the main things that actually happened during the builds or the drilling system is that we ran out of power. But before we get into that, we have a garage door number 2, but this one is a little bit different. So it's not much of a garage door, more of a hangar door system here. It is actually made out of hangar doors with the windows, and this is our storage room. So how this one works is basically we have 2 buttons, one for hangar doors and one for this middle hangar door piece. So we're gonna open the hangar doors first, and then the hinge hangers, which is that middle piece there. So I gotta find a timer block to time it all to do this a little bit better, but right now it's manual. And the worst part about it is that that middle piece hangs right in the middle, even when it's open. Good and bad thing. Good because it shows a bit of a light system here to now become like a ceiling light, although we have some spotlights over there as well, and there's some lights back here as well. I mean, we could do a piston system where it grabs the hinge and several parts of this upwards so that we can hide it a little bit better. But I kind of just left it as this, just to leave it as design to make it look okay. So once again, it's based on hangar doors, regular hangar doors, and the middle piece is based on a hinge that swings left and right, forward and backwards in this case. So here we have the button here to swing that back and forth, and we can leave this closed or open because, I mean, for the most part, either myself's going in there or a small little rover's going in there, and that's gonna fit through here with no problem anyways. So that is just a random design to see if it worked, and it does. But once again, it's not airtight. It's not gonna do anything in terms of that. More aesthetic pleasing kind of situation. Looks like I missed a light panel right there, but that's alright. But here is our storage capacity, or what I call storage galore. It looks like that little box there. And we put in a whole bunch of large cargo containers. And right now, I think most of it should be holding, oh, maybe it's finished. But it should be holding, yeah, it's holding a large amount of stone because we gathered a lot of stone recently. And we want that to refine into the iron, nickel, silicon, and everything that we needed. But yeah, this is more than enough storage that we could possibly use. But might as well add it here, I guess, right? And also put in this little catwalk here so we could walk across the catwalks to each storage container if we need to do that. We add a second floor of it so we can add more catwalks through the lines here. Didn't finish it out just yet, but we could have that ability to do that. And then we're going to add a third floor. So those are some things we're going to be working on for the little things. But yeah, that's our storage galore area. We have the 2 spotlights similar to our garage. That's kind of built inwards. And we also have a little bit of batteries here. And this is just randomly placed here because we ran out of power. And we needed some place to do it. So that's what this space is for. So this space is going to be my power station. So that's going to be battery powers, reactors, maybe hydrogen engines, and hydrogen tanks. I'm thinking about it. Maybe I'll separate those two for now. But that's what it is currently. We definitely need more power, especially running these drills if we're going to play with these drills ever again. Honestly, no, I don't like. It's not that I don't like the color pink. I can have use for a pink color, but it's, like I said in the comment, also this is just something or color I normally use by default, whether it's something I did or that was default for the nanobot build and repair. I don't remember, but I stuck with that color for the longest. And yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily build with pink, but I mean, it's not that I don't like it. But anyways, battery was a big issue running those drill systems. So we added some batteries just to get some power, but we're going to head out to the outside and see what we've done as well. I mean, you clearly could have saw it in the time lapse, but just to see you, and great, it's daytime. It's hard to know when it's daytime or not when we're in this little cave system here. But we reduced a whole bunch of storage containers outside. We had a whole bunch of them sticking all the way out to right around here. And one of the things I noticed is that my refineries weren't working. And then when I came out here, I saw this line red, which means lack of power. So there was definitely a lack of power because we only ran 1 tower of turbines, which houses 5. So we decided to make 2 additional towers of turbines. So honestly, or obviously, this turbine system will go away eventually. Not quite so quickly, but it'll be, all of this is going to be gone and just leaving the platform. But this tower here is what's powering it currently. We can make additional more towers if we need to. We can make it on the left and right of it. And that's how we're going to get our kind of free energy for the most part. Other than that, we're going to have to go get ice and everything like that, which I do believe we do have some ice somewhere. I know we gathered ice once before, so there's definitely ice somewhere. But we just got to locate it. But yeah, outside we just added 2 turbines right outside the mountains. But the door here seems to be still working fine, so that's good to go. In terms of these beams, I do need to definitely do some kind of projection and increase it. And these are going to go away as well too, to make everything flat. So lots of little random detail stuff that we still got to take care of. But for the most part, we're still creating the rooms. We're still drilling out a whole bunch of stuff. Making more doors. Each room's going to have a different unique door. So whatever I can think of or just try out, I'm going to try out. And what's life-saving is a projector. Although I could make a larger wall projection. Right now I have a single line projection, which has been very helpful to build out a lot of things pretty quickly. But yeah, so far I'm doing line by line because it's kind of helpful. Maybe I'm going to do maybe 5 lines or 6 lines. I don't know. We'll figure it out soon. But eventually I got kind of annoyed or failed too much with the drill systems. So I decided to now make a random large rover drill system to help penetrate walls. And here you'll see a bit of a wall penetration or opening of a wall using this drill system, which is a simple 4-wheeled or 8-wheeled rover, which is holding up by one steel block at a time, and trying to control its weight on one side and the other side, because the drill system is kind of heavy, although minimal right here. But we're right click drilling for the most part, and it's just gonna create a opening for the sides when necessary. It's not the best thing in the world because I didn't really think about putting it on the opposite side when we can add more stuff on one side and the other side. Or honestly, I should just really drill a much bigger hole from left to right, because I can always make walls with steel plates instead of leaving voxels. But this was just an interesting thing to play around with. This thing might go away because I do need one that's going to be able to drill on both sides. Or maybe we carry a big rover throughout the whole entire thing and drill out from that wall, drill out from this wall, and go straight out. But we don't want to make it we don't want to go too way out, because we don't want the width to be all the way out there to the outside of the mountain. But we'll see what happens. But the rover here, it's simple. It's like I said, it's held up by pretty much by one steel block at a time. And we do have a magnetic plate down here just to hold the weight of it when we extend the drill system this way to go forward, because it will tip over, but in this case. But this thing works out okay. It's not terrible. It drives okay. It broke a few times because it did get stuck inside of the blocks down here. So that's a issue we're gonna have when we continue to play with the rovers. But yeah, I think I'm gonna not play around with the rovers too long and pretty much create a worm system. We should just drill straight through first, to be honest, and then work on the walls. But I don't even know how far we've even got so far, to be honest. Let's see. Let's go to spectator camera and kind of see where we're at. So here's the wall, and here we go. So quite the distance so far. I don't think it's too much. We probably still got long ways to go if we want to drill out all the way to the other side of the mountain. So here's the other side of the mountain, and yeah, we are getting there. I think we're halfway. Oh wow, we are about halfway. That was not necessarily planned, but that's actually pretty interesting. Alright, so I think what I'm gonna do is, because we're about halfway. Yeah, we're about halfway. That's actually awesome. We're gonna create a couple more rooms up to probably here, and we're gonna make the tunnel system again as far as possible. But we are gonna have to revert it back to the smaller tunnel like here. So I'm gonna keep this bigger tunnel only for the rooms and such. So interesting. Alright, I might bring back some older drilling systems that I used before, like the worm systems and stuff like that. And I'm gonna try to drill straight through, and maybe I'll do some straight through drilling for the rooms as well. And then we're good to go, basically, in terms of the drilling pieces. And then we just gotta design everything. Do we want to drill up for an air, for any ships and stuff like that? Maybe we can do that too. But it looks like we're getting very close to finishing off the drilling piece, at least. And so far, so good. The server is not the server, but my time-lapse machine and the save game is holding up okay. It's not like extra laggy, so it's not too bad. It's the normal kind of lag where you use your jetpack, run into a wall a little too hard, kind of have some depth there, but nothing crazy so far. The doors work. driving rovers are okay. So like, say for example, if I want to drive some of these build and repair rovers, they seem to work okay, nothing too bad. All right, so I'm in here, and as you see, I can turn left and right pretty quickly and drive it pretty well. So I'm glad to see that the server is holding up pretty well in this case. My time-lapse machine is hosting it right now, and I'm currently joined, so I can get kicked off of it anytime. But it seems to work out okay. I drilled a lot so far, so I'm assuming maybe it's the specs that makes a difference. So we'll see what happens from here. But time-lapse machines, what is it? I think an i7 5th gen or so, 6th gen, I can't recall, with 1080. My main machine is under an i9 with a 3080 Ti, so I should be hosting it if anything. But the main reason why I'm having the other machine host is because of the build and repair mod and have the streaming yellow and blue lights. That's why I needed that to host it. But other than that, like I said, it's holding up pretty well, surprisingly. So yeah, this is a huge project, more to come. I hope we can incorporate all different types of doors that I can come up with or think about. Try out all different kinds of drills. If there's any other drill mods out there that you want to see or have me use, let me know in the description down below. I'll check them out, play around with it, and add it into the time-lapse series. And yeah, if you enjoy this series itself, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave comments down below, and of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.